watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself.
Whoa. Whoa, what is happening here? Hi, greetings everybody. If you're getting connected to this video, you did. You're there. You're connected. Hello to everybody on Bookface and Graham of Insta and X. We won't make fun of X. X is just X. Weirdly, I don't think X is working. Are we not? Are we online? I hate when it doesn't work right. I hate when it doesn't work right. No, it's working. Okay, good. We're connected. Hi, everybody. Greetings. We're on the radio right now, and we're also live in studio with this guy. Jesse Peyton is here, stand-up comedian extraordinaire. Jesse Peyton hosting. You are headlining not this Friday, but next Friday at the Improv in Houston. Couples Therapy. That's a good venue.
That's the flagship of comedy in Texas. So, yeah, it's Couples Therapy, December 27th. It's going to be my 18th time headlining the Houston Improv. I'm stoked to be back.
You have become something of a local hero for stand-up comedy enthusiasts. We recently did our Operation Comedy Therapy, Jesse Peyton and Friends, Walton and Johnson present. It has 3 or 4 different names for the event because we could never agree on one.
Right, yeah.
But this year we raised over $25,000. Yeah, almost $30,000.
It was awesome.
For which can pay, thanks God, in Joe Biden's economy, that could pay for exactly 1 wheelchair.
Yes, and half a tank of gas.
To get there,
That's it.
Which I think we pissed away on our way to get to the event. But anyway, thank you for doing that.
That was so much fun, Ken.
What is Couples Therapy?
Couples Therapy is a relationship-themed comedy show, and I know what people always ask me. They're like, Jesse, are you even married? And no, I'm not. But then they're like, are you good at therapy? Well, also no. But it is funny. But we have a good time. It's a relationship-themed parody comedy show where we get 3 stand-up comics come on stage. We all do our stand-up bits about our relationships, our wives, our ex-wives, dating, whatnot. It's just a lot of fun. It's a perfect date night show. The cool thing about this show is at the end of the show, we take questions from the audience that they submit on index cards. They can be relationship questions. Some of them are like real questions. You know, like a woman will be like, hey, how come my husband doesn't hold my hand in public anymore? And as comedians, we make it funny. And it's me and 3 of the funniest comics in Texas. We do that. And some of the male questions are also serious. Like, how come my wife won't give me a threesome every Friday? You know, and we try to solve these problems. That's what we do. We try to...
Well, she was going to have the threesome, but it was awkward having your brother in the room.
It was. I know. Like, I almost had a threesome yesterday. I was just 2 people short.
That's it. Yeah, thank you, Jesse.
Good.
Well, Jesse Peyton is here. Jesse is one of the funniest comedians in Houston, Texas. But Jesse, I want to be a little transparent here. Jesse is also a friend of mine. I did not love getting divorced, but I will admit, now that I am divorced, I am very happy now. And you were a good friend of mine that helped me get through my divorce. I stumbled on this article. Another friend of mine, Austin Peterson, sent me this article. He's a dad. He's married. He's a happy guy. He doesn't have the problems you and I have. It's a New York Times article with the following headline. I'll hold it up to here because I don't. This is what it looks great on the camera. It looks terrible. The headline is How Our Messed Up Dating Culture Leads to Loneliness, Anger, and Donald Trump. I was triggered by the article, by the headline. And then I read the article, and I actually agreed with a lot of it. Here's a summary of it if I was AI. This is an article that explains how women today are liberated from their traditional gender norms, but men are still expected to act the way we acted in the 1800s. Men are still supposed to earn more, pay for everything, open the door, all that, but women don't have to follow those old rules anymore. And this is a little bit like what you're talking about at the event, isn't it?
It is. And we just, like we said, we make the concept of dating, marriage, and the peripheral things of it, we just make it funny, and we talk about our own personal experiences. I've been divorced for 4 years now, so I did spearhead the divorced 40-year-old white guy thing for you, Ken.
Thank you.
I did that just so I could be a mentor to you. So we go up, and basically, it is a comedy show, and I like to always be clear about that. We do kind of make a parody of relationships, dating, and things like that. So it is entertainment purposes only, which is ironic because this is a real story. I had a guy in Mandeville, Louisiana, come up to me after the show, Couples Therapy. He came by himself and he's like, hey, buddy, will you sign this? And I'm like, dude, I'll autograph whatever you want, any merch you buy. And it was a court-ordered community service to do therapy as a condition of his parole. And he was like, can you sign? This was the best therapy that I've ever done. And I was like, dude, you're going to prison.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
This doesn't count. I was like, we did sex jokes for 45 minutes. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
So
But these guys that have court ordered, they have to go to therapy. They have to go to AA usually.
Yeah.
You understand the trick. It's Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
So the judge, I'm told, this is how it was explained to me, the judge gives you a sheet because you got a DUI or you got caught with meth or whatever it was, and you have to go to Narcotics Anonymous. You have to go to 10 meetings or 20 meetings. Usually what these junkies and alcoholics figure out is after the third or fourth meeting, it's called anonymous. They're never going to be, they can't legally go and check if you were really there.
Yeah.
So people will just write anything on it. So when you signed it for him, weirdly, Jesse, that probably did work in court for him.
It probably did. So you know what? And I just love that I'm out here doing the Lord's work for couples. So
that was super kind of you. That was
it.
That was a really sweet thing. What was the thing about getting divorced? What did you not expect? Did you liked it?
It was the best time of my life because I had money and I was single and I was stable. So it was unlike when I was married. It was the freedom of it. And I didn't have an ugly divorce. It was kind of me and my wife just kind of grew apart. We didn't fight. We never fought. We had 4 fights our whole marriage. But I knew the tough part was, Ken, that I knew my wife was my best friend. And I knew she was my best friend because she would not have sex with me. And like we got friend zoned at the altar, and she would brag to her friends like that I was her best friend, and she would say like, I'm not gonna mess this up with sex. So
so that was that. So you don't talk to her anymore. All right. Well, sex is a hot topic of conversation. Sex and sexual frustration in the zeitgeist of the world of news. Do you like how I throw that word out there? Because of this guy, Luigi Mangione. Basically, he looks like James Franco with a unibrow.
Yeah.
Imagine the insanity of this, Jesse. This guy was having back pain, and he couldn't have sex. So it drove him to go murder. He supposedly, that was the thing that caused him to do it. Now he's been charged with first and second degree murder plus terrorism. And this has caused women and gay men, mostly on the left, probably the same women that were like boycotting sex because they were mad about the election, are now saying they want to have sex with this dude. What do you think this tells 13-year-olds? Imagine you're a 14-year-old boy. You just breathe on it, and you get aroused.
Yeah.
And you're watching the news and you find out, wait, women want to have sex with this guy because he murdered? Feels like it's the wrong lesson to teach people.
It does. I don't like it. I hate that it was that propagated in that direction as well, because we can all empathize with, the medical field, in a lot of ways is difficult to deal with. I don't have insurance. I don't know what you guys know about stand-up comedy, but this doesn't come with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Really? Is
that
Medicaid?
I've never gone to an urgent care when they were like, Jesse, it's chlamydia. I've never I'm coming back and blowing this place up. No, you just take a week off and get back in the game.
All right, so there's another thing. I'm a little dirty laundry on the air right now.
Yeah.
When you're divorced and you have a sex life, when you're married, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You get a blood test once a year, it doesn't matter. When you're divorced, you get from time to time. You want to know, right? I was like, I've been seeing someone. You're curious if you're clean or whatever. So you get the venereal disease test, right? Did you ever think about how we don't market that the right way?
In what regards?
I've never won the lottery, but I bought a lottery ticket.
Right.
I've never failed a venereal disease test, but I've done that. When I get the results back from my venereal disease test, I feel like I won the lottery. I'm like,
that's funny.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, hooray. We ought to have the ads like that. Like, you could be a winner. Instead of making it seem grim and glum, why don't we market it like, hey, imagine if you didn't have chlamydia. How excited would you be?
No, well, Ken, you just triggered me because you made it a pass or fail, and I think a STD test is a spectrum.
Is that right?
It is a spectrum. Like you didn't get HIV, like just chlamydia. Like I feel like, hey, I didn't win the grand prize, but I feel like I feel like I won a $20 scratcher.
Right.
That's a bad analogy. No, scratcher is a bad pun right there. I'm so sorry.
But that's what I'm talking about, right? Like maybe the real problem here, maybe the real way to stop venereal disease, just market it a little bit differently.
I concur. Yeah, because I treat STDs like I treated COVID.
Yeah.
Like as long as I didn't get tested for it, I couldn't have it. So.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly my point. All right. Men and women are not the same, Jesse. You and I were just watching this video here off the air, and I want to show this to our listeners watching us on social media. I'm not on TikTok, but I'm TikTok adjacent because I'm on Twitter, so I learned what went viral on TikTok about a week later. Apparently, women on TikTok are aghast, shocked to learn that they've been pumping gas the wrong way. Now, I would have explained this to them had I have known they not understood it. For those of you that are watching us on social media, you could see we're looking at an image right now of a gas pump. But if you're listening to us on the radio, you don't understand. As I hit play here, the camera pans over from the gas pump to the gas, to the car itself. Here, let me play that again. This woman says, I was today years old when I figured this out. I'm going to pause it right here. She was shocked to learn that right here, there's a little device on every gas pump handle that allows it to lock so it'll keep pumping gas for you. Now, I would have assumed that everybody on earth knew that was a thing.
Right.
Apparently, Jesse, women, average women our age or probably younger, didn't know about this. This is shocking. This went viral only because they had no idea.
They didn't know because they keep trying to say chivalry's dead, and it's not. That just proves they don't pump their own gas. And we're still doing what we did in the 1800s. We're pumping gas for them, but they didn't know that this was even a thing. So,
Jesse Peyton has explained it perfectly.
America, the land of taxation that was founded to avoid taxation. Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness.
Hey, if you're watching us on social media, we are recording segments for my afternoon show today. Highest rated afternoon talk radio show in Houston, Texas. For the based, red-pilled right-wingers, it's not I compete with Sean Hannity. He's not a bad guy, I'm told. But in studio right now, Jesse Peyton. And while I'm queuing up the next segment to record, a quick reminder, you know a good place to buy Christmas gifts? ilovewj.com. We actually now have Milton Friedman bikinis and Donald Trump bikinis. Libertarian-themed bikinis are now for sale. Why not have Ron Paul's face on your nipples, ladies? Wouldn't you love that? Go to ilovewj.com. And while we're promoting stuff, don't forget, not this Friday, but next Friday, head to the Houston Improv. My buddy Jesse is headlining, and he's here right now. Hang on, we'll keep going. Let me get some bumper music. This is royalty-free bumper music. There we go. I can't play commercial music because we're streaming online. Hang on. All right. This is interesting. Taco Bell has added chicken nuggets to their menu. It's for customers who are so high they think they're at KFC. Because what else could it be? Why chicken nuggets at Taco Bell? Did we need that?
Well, I mean, what the weird trend I noticed. It's funny you correlate KFC with Taco Bell, because why is it all Hispanic people that work at KFC and black people that work at Taco Bell? Are they scared they're going to eat the food? Like, is that what it is? Maybe that's why there's chicken nuggets, because every time you go to a Taco Bell, it's all there's not one Hispanic dude in there. But when you go to KFC, it's all Hispanics.
Bro, I was in California recently. I went to a ramen and sushi restaurant, and I walk inside. My rule for Asian food: when you walk in the restaurant, if you don't see any Asian people eating there, you're not in a good restaurant.
Right.
Get the hell out.
Yeah.
So I walk in, Asian people sitting everywhere. I'm like, all right, this is good. This is good. I sit down at the table, look at the menu, sushi rolls, maki, ramen. I'm like, all right, it's Asian food, West Coast. And then the waiter comes up. And I look up, and his name's Skyler or Bryson or whatever. He's a surfer guy. Kind of looks like you, to be honest.
Nice.
He's like, hey, what's up? Welcome to the ramen bowl. What can I get for you?
Oh, wow. How about an Asian dude?
Dude, I'd never seen anything like it. There's a white guy working at an Asian restaurant.
Yeah.
And Asian people are actually eating this food. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will.
Well, that happened to me in Tacoma, too, because I was at a hotel. We were doing the Tacoma Comedy Club, and I had a white housekeeper. I'm like, we're way too far north. We're way too far north. They're way too progressive here to have Karen cleaning my hotel room.
What is going to happen now if these mass deportations happen? Look, I don't want to sound racist, but I love me some tamales.
Yes.
Can that be the litmus test? Can that be the barometric reading? If you can make tamales, you could stay. For those watching us that are not from Texas, it's that time of year. It's tamale time.
Right.
Every holiday season, every Christmas, your cleaning lady shows up, the janitor, whatever, they're selling tamales. Look, I don't want to sound racist, but that's exactly you buy tamales from the person that cleans your bathroom.
Right.
And is it not the best tamale you've ever had in your life?
It's the best in the world, because my ex-wife would put cream of mushroom in her enchiladas. And I was like, you do not deserve to be married, young lady, at all. You don't at all. And then I was reading books on marriage at the time. it was COVID. We were locked down together. So I found a really good book on marriage that changed my perspective. It was called If I Did It by O.J. Simpson. It's a phenomenal book on marriage. The ending's great. They let him go, Ken. They let him go.
That is an interesting point. I bet O.J. actually wrote that book. Michelle Obama's got a book out right now. She's out promoting. I know we said we weren't going to talk about politics today. And technically, this isn't political because Michelle Obama said she wouldn't talk about politics either during an interview. I'm going to put something on the screen here for you, and I'm going to mute the mics just for a minute because I want Jesse to be able to hear this. Michelle Obama, who just a month ago went around telling everybody that the world is going to end if Donald Trump wins, Orange Hitler, yada, 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 is now out promoting a book she just wrote, and she's out promoting a juice line that she's got. So Orange Hitler's going to kill us, but weirdly, watching this video makes me think she doesn't actually believe that. All right, so first of all, isn't that amazing? They got all these white people to learn the lyrics to a Stevie Wonder song and then change the lyrics so it's about Michelle Obama. But also, Jesse, why is she dancing? It's Orange Hitler's coming. I don't understand this.
I don't know. I didn't even know that was Michelle Obama. I thought that was LeBron James after they won the championship. I thought he was celebrating.
Well, there's a video that just went viral of LeBron James kissing a dude in Paris. And apparently that is AI. And I wonder, is it possible that this is AI? Is that possible?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just glad she's got her penis covered up. That makes me feel good about it.
All right. Why have we, look, I'm not one of those people that throws gas on that fire, that conspiracy theory, but why have we never seen a picture of her pregnant? There's no photos of pregnant Michelle Obama anywhere. But I'm not saying she's trans. I'm just saying if she had 2 babies, there should be a pregnancy photo somewhere.
Yeah, you would think that's the bump. I don't know.
Did she get a surrogate or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she didn't carry. Maybe she was the. Maybe maybe she wasn't the egg. Maybe she was the sperm.
Does Michelle Obama run for office in a couple of years, or is that? I mean, why would she want to? Wouldn't you think she'd rather just do this?
Yeah, there's no way. I don't think she could win. How could she win?
I don't get it.
Why wouldn't it have been her instead of Kamala? They just appointed who they wanted anyway.
Right.
You picked the least likable person on the planet over you.
Well, you're onto something there. Is it possible they picked Kamala because this was a throwaway election? They're like, we're going to lose anyway. And Kamala is now $20 million in debt. How do you come back from that?
I don't think it was a throwaway. My take is this: like, Donald Trump is probably the most polarizing person ever in office, and this was the shot they had to win. I personally believe that we're at the beginning of about 5 or 6 conservative winners in a row in these next administrations. That's my personal belief.
I mean, now that the Republican Party is the party of the working class, I mean, it feels like, for the last 20 or 30 years, the Democrats were since the end of Reagan, they say the Democrats are a little more popular, and now we see it kind of feels like it's going in the other direction.
The pendulum's finally swinging back. I think post-COVID, when we had COVID and the mask and the lockdown and the vaccine and George Floyd and all of those things that were super polarizing, you were scared to speak out and say that you were conservative, right-leaning, and I'm not even 100% right. I'm pretty libertarian. I'm kind of in the middle on a lot of things.
But that's most of us.
But when you say, hey, there's 2 genders, they're like, you're racist. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm not. And they're like, did you know what happened to George Floyd and COVID and you hate lives and and you were so scared to do those things. But now there were no conservative comedians. There were no conservative comedians 5 years ago. Do you know that?
I want to talk about that, but first I want your reaction to this, because the comedy thing I think is valid. I think the fact that people like you and Chad Prather and Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle are making fun of trannies, and I think that that's had a big effect on things. But to your point, the COVID thing, these videos are still going viral. They're, a woman's driving Uber. Hang on, is this on the screen here? Let me get this on the screen. A woman's out driving Uber with a mask on, and she thinks that she's cool because she's kicking people out of her Uber for not wearing a mask, and then post the video online to shame people. And by the way, this has nothing to do with white liberals or anything. This woman looks Hispanic. There's a black lady in the back seat. Black people are sick. Look, she's kicking her out because she doesn't have a mask. Isn't that something? It's 2024. People are still wearing masks.
Well, she has a cage in her car like she's law enforcement, so you're scared of everything. So I just don't know what the fear is.
Yeah,
so
why even be an Uber driver if you're that paranoid?
It's insane. It's insanity.
All right, we all talk about how the border, inflation, groceries, how that affected stuff, trans in sports, how that affected this election. Don't you think the fact that comedians have basically been rejected by the left, and you guys all have to, you happen to have vaguely right-wing conservative beliefs like you just pointed out, But can you even be a comedian and be on the left anymore? Everyone hates smug leftist comedy.
The funny thing is, Ken, you know what's I did your show in 2018, I think, and I didn't even know what conservative and liberal was back then. If you remember, the first time I came on air, you said conservative talk radio, and I'm like, cool, what's that? Literally didn't know. I called conservatism common sense. I just thought it was just normal common sense stuff. So I don't like comics who scream and cry about cancel culture, because Ricky Gervais had a great point. Ricky Gervais said, there's no such thing as cancel culture. You can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, and people can react to it however they want, and you can deal with the consequences of that reaction however you want. And that's kind of what I've founded my my career on, where there's a lot of people who call me racist and conservative and a Trump supporter. And, you know, they say I support Trump just because I love him and I think he's awesome and I sell his merch and I endorse him everywhere I go. If that makes me a supporter, then okay. But I call it common sense. But I think all most woke agendas, they're just funny. Trans people are funny. You're a man with a lipstick in your mustache.
It's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
It's hilarious, dude.
You know, I think everything should be tabled. I think you should be able to make a joke about Christians and white people and black people. And
I would agree.
Straight people too, you know? And I think one of my favorite comics is a liberal guy. You know that? Jeffrey Asmus.
He's so funny. Yeah, I've met him. I've talked to him.
He's hilarious.
Yeah,
we
great.
were at the show together. We went to that show.
Great show.
And I don't care what your political beliefs are. Comedy, I think, should be exempt from, you know, we don't go on stage and say the things we believe. We go on stage and say things that we think will make you laugh. And that's what we try to do. I don't say the things, I don't go up there and say, I have a joke about, I accidentally sent my mom a picture of my penis and I thought it would be weird, but she just sent me a naked picture back. And that's silly and stupid.
That is a small part of a great bit, actually. Hey, on the radio, we're about to run out of time, but for those of you that are watching us on social media, don't go anywhere. We're not going anywhere. But, because we'll do a little more bonus right now, but if you are listening on the radio, where can people go check you out at?
At Jesse is Funny on Instagram, Jesse Peyton Comedy on Facebook, TikTok, Jesse Peyton 420. Follow me on all of those platforms. Anytime you Google my first and last name, it's going to pop up. And Houston Improv, December 27th. Come see me live, all right, Houston, Texas.
That is a week from this Friday. I'm going to be there. Jesse's a good friend. For those of you that have seen him do stand-up before, the show he's doing next Friday at the Improv is a little different than his normal thing, because it's called couples therapy. It's more interactive. It's a lot of fun. Earlier this year, you, me, and Chad Prather did a thing on January 6th where we just did crowd work, which means you make fun of people in the crowd, and it was called the Crowd Boys.
Right.
And on January 6th, I thought that was the funniest name of any comedy show I've ever been a part of before.
Ken, I caught so much hell for the term Crowd Boys on January 6th, but the show sold out. We had 215 people at a room that holds 180. It was amazing. The show went great. And look for that again, too, Houston. We're going to bring Crowd Boys back. It's going to be a fun show.
I would love to do Crowd Boys again. And by the way, it was at a comedy club that generally is occupied by a lot of liberals normally. But if you are watching us on social media, don't go anywhere. We're sticking around right now. If you're listening to us on the radio, Local George is coming up next with stories of Houston squatters. Stick around for that. Retweet this video. Don't go anywhere.
Pursuit of Happiness Radio coming out your speaker.
This is Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness on KPRC 950, Houston.
All right, so this is bonus material, right? We're not on the radio right now, so fuck, shit, titties, damn it. We can swear. That's great. That's the best part of not being on the radio. People that
No, hold on. Let's back up. You just said fuck, shit, titties, damn it. That sounds like a transition gone wrong. Right. That was what you said. Fuck, shit, titties, damn it. Like you wake up out of this transition surgery and you were supposed to go female to male, but your tits are still there. And they did the wrong. And you look down and you had a leg amputated.
That's it. No,
I think fuck, shit, titties, damn it. I want merch, Ken, that says fuck, shit, titties, damn it. That was amazing.
People are always shocked when they learn. You know, because we do conservative talk radio, but then they come to our comedy shows, and we're very foul-mouthed, and it's a lot of dick jokes, and, you know.
Dicks are funny.
Right, talking about bodily fluids and schmegma. And it's so weird what you can't get away with on the radio versus what you can't get away with on social media. On the radio, I can't say 7 words, and I can't talk about insertion or penetration or bodily fluids. I could do that here. I could talk about sperm and, you know, pussy juice. Nobody cares. That's fine.
Right.
Whereas, on social media, I can't talk about Axeensve or the 2020 election results.
Right.
Ray, people are real touchy about that. I got kicked off YouTube for 6 months because I accurately predicted that Gavin Newsom was going to win the special election against Larry Elder in California, because I accurately predicted an election and I said, I don't trust the California elections. I bet Gavin Newsom wins. He won. YouTube took down the video and suspended me for 6 months because I said the only reason why he won is because Californians cheat in elections.
It's so silly.
It's retarded. And you know what else is retarded? You're not on Twitter much. You should be.
I don't. I should be, but I don't. I treat social media like I treat the gym. I only go and work out the things that I'm already better at instead of my. It's awful. It's a horrible thing in both realms.
Well, because of Donald Trump Jr., you have a ton of followers on Instagram.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
You posted some funny things that he thought were hilarious, so he shared them. And then you went from having tens of thousands of followers to hundreds of thousands, right?
That's correct, yeah.
But you don't know about this little queer right here, or whatever he is, Harry Sison. This guy is like a 22-year-old, and he gets paid to tweet for Joe Biden. And whatever Joe Biden is saying that day, this guy has no self-respect. He will repeat what Joe said and say, yeah, that's the truth. And then 24 hours later, Joe could be like, all right, Hunter's laptop was real. And then this little twerp will go, well, obviously it was real. We always thought it was real. And he tweets about how expensive college is while he's sitting in an Audi. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
I'd love to get paid to tweet. I don't get paid for my big spicy tweets.
I want to see Kyle Rittenhouse and him go at it. Like, that just seems like I just want to see Kyle Rittenhouse beat the hell out of him.
You are not the first person to suggest that.
Really?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Because people always go, look how cool liberal teenagers are compared to conservative teenagers. Like, I would much rather hang out with Kyle Rittenhouse than this little twerp right here. But anyway, here he is yesterday with Hunter Biden. Is this the photo where Harry Sison got introduced to cocaine?
100%. Yeah. Or he just caught it by proxy. Like, just by touch. What do they call it? A contact eye?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, exactly. Okay, the cocaine they found on the floor of the White House, was it Hunter's?
100%. Who else could it be? I mean, it could have been anybody. But the funniest part was, how does nobody know? How is there a part of the White House that's not under surveillance? They know.
All right, we're not supposed to talk about this because it'll offend people, but this is Ashley Biden. This is Hunter's sister. Hang on, here we go. Hunter, so a while back, I don't know if you remember this, there was a scandal in which the guys from Project Veritas, what was his name? James O'Keefe, cool guy. I don't know who he is. He's followed me on social media for years. I've followed him. He supposedly bought, or his company purchased, allegedly, purportedly, a stolen diary that belonged to Ashley Biden. And supposedly in the diary, she talks about how at a young age, like too old to be showering with dad, she would still shower with dad. I'm talking about the president. And this is the reason why, as an adult, she's hypersexual. My question for you is, do you believe that? And knowing that she has daddy issues, what does that tell you about Ashley?
Ashley, it's at Jesse is funny on Instagram. My DMs are wide open. I check them all, Ashley. And you can come home and shower with me and call me daddy.
There you go. And here's oh, sorry, I didn't mean to have this ad on the screen there. Yeah, poor Ashley. But you know, every time you meet a woman who's kind of wild in bed,
yeah,
girls with good relationships with their dad are usually not.
They're not. Those are my 3 prerequisites, Ken. I like a girl with daddy issues, low self-esteem, and a latex allergy. Those are my 3. Those are, yeah.
So sheepskin then, is that?
Yeah, no, none.
Where would you even, I hear people talk about that they have a latex allergy. Where does one even buy a sheepskin condom?
I have no, what's a condom?
Come on.
What are you talking about? Why are you speaking this liberal propaganda, Ken?
Look, I'm, we're very responsible here at KPRC Radio. But Jesse, on the other hand, what he does is his own
I'm an
business.
ask for forgiveness, not permission type of guy, and I treat unprotected sex the same. That's bad. All right. Couples therapy will not be like this, guys.
I hope it is. That would be better for me.
It's going to be fun.
All right. You're not. What's interesting about you is you've been to prison, right?
Yes, sir.
You're covered in tattoos.
Yep.
You generally don't drink. You don't do drugs. Some people would be real surprised by that.
Not generally. I've never tried any drugs in my life. I've never been drunk either. That's just been a thing that my dad was a alcoholic and drug addict, and I just never did it. I'm like this hyper active and goofy and silly, sober, confident. So I've never felt the need for that.
All right, I won't lie and say I've never done drugs, but my rule has always been nothing in the nose, nothing in the arms. Yeah. Which means generally the kind of drugs white people do at music festivals. Now, I'm 42 now. When I was in my 20s and I went to raves, it was a different thing.
Of course, yeah.
Now in my 40s, it's like, all right, we're in Colorado at a ski resort. Let's get some gummies or whatever.
Yeah.
But do you consider that a drug?
I think weed should be legal because, like I said, my dad, when he drank, he would come home and be a violent terror. And when he would smoke weed, he would be calm and docile. And if I don't know how being intoxicated is legal, but being high is illegal. I think that's I know that's not a conservative, it's a talking point, but it's not a conservative perspective. But that's just how I feel personally.
I feel like it is the conservative perspective now. The guy that runs our merch store, Austin Peterson, great guy. I love Austin. He's a good friend. Famously created this meme many years ago. And the meme went like, it was a libertarian meme at the time. And it went something like this. It said, I want to live in an America where married gay men could protect their marijuana farm with their AR-15.
100%.
And Donald Trump Jr., who also has posted your content on his Instagram account, posted that on his Instagram account or his Facebook page.
Yeah.
That'd be something you and Austin have in common. You both created content that Don Jr. stole and used for his own.
Yeah, and I love it. And that's exactly how I feel. I'm basically, if it doesn't involve me or affect me, I don't care.
No?
What you do. No.
Okay, what about the trans thing? Because nobody cares about gays anymore. Gays are boring now.
Yeah.
Gays are the new straights. You don't matter. Sorry, gays. You're not interesting. You're not
You're not marginalized anymore. There's a lot of you.
Yeah, now it's all about trans. Trans this, trans that.
Yeah.
Trans genocide. Do you believe in trans genocide?
That's just a made-up word for validation and virtue signaling. That's not something that, like, when have you ever seen a hate crime against a transgender person? Because if it ever happened, we know that would be page 1, paragraph 1 of every media outlet in the world.
That's it. That's it, right. Trans people do get murdered at a very alarming rate. Here's who's murdering them. Their lovers and their drug dealers, right? It has nothing to do, it's not like there's some MAGA guy running around who couldn't find Jussie Smollett that day, so he decided to go murder trans people. You're 100% right. If some transgender person got murdered by a MAGA Republican, you would know everything about these two people. You'd know their birthday, you'd know their address, you'd know where they went to college. Yeah. They'd be interviewing the neighbor about what kind of pizza toppings they eat. It's never happened.
We reward victim culture, Ken, and that's what it is today. It's that if you are somebody who hasn't struggled, if you're self-made and you made it in this world, then people are like, oh, you've never gone through shit. But everybody who's not a mask-wearing person with a cage in your car, that's a scared victim, then if you can't be the victim, then you have to identify with the victim and support them in a fake virtue signaling way. I
totally agree. All right. Now, I know you don't drink, you don't do drugs, and you're a virgin, I'm told, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe not the last thing, but you are a good businessman. Yeah. I've noticed that when we go to your shows and do comedy shows with you, you have tons of merch, shirts and whatever.
Of course.
We have a lot of merch too at ilovewj.com. That's a good way to, monetize and supplement your business.
Absolutely.
Do you find this to be brilliant? Look up at the computer screen here.
Okay.
This guy, this is the first time this has ever happened. This guy in Ohio has a funeral parlor. He actually looks like he's a young guy. He kind of looks like he'd be someone we'd hang out with if you look at a photo of the guy here. And he is the first funeral parlor owner in America to get a liquor license. When you go to the funeral parlor, you could buy a beer, you could buy a glass of wine, you can do shots with your friends. What are the pros and cons, Jesse?
Well, the pro is that you're going to sell a lot of liquor because that's just a spot where you're going to want to numb yourself anyway.
Right.
So I love the capitalistic side of this for sure.
Absolutely. Look at this guy. Doesn't he? He looks like somebody that would show up at one of our. He absolutely looks like he's one of our listeners.
He looks like a cryptocurrency fire festival hosting dude right there.
This is exactly what our radio listeners look like. Like the kind of
so funny.
Like he's a good businessman, but you wouldn't trust him with your daughter. That kind of a guy. And I don't know. I got to think there's probably a demographic. I'm sure we know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say it out loud that would not be able to handle alcohol at a funeral.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. My dad was one of them.
And obviously, I'm talking about people that live at double wides, but maybe also the barrio or the
my
hood.
family. That's my whole family. And no, they can't because they're going to turn it into a party. And then my dad's going to try to get pre-buy his own casket for later because he's going to get a deal because he's so drunk and stupid.
You ever think about how we have a different word for all the different kinds of demographics, trashy neighborhoods? Like white trash is the trailer park.
Yeah.
Right? Black trash, that's the hood.
Okay.
Brown trash is the barrio.
Right.
Why can't we just have a word to describe all of it? Equal opportunity
We do.
trash.
It's called Louisiana. I'm just kidding. I love Louisiana. It's literally my favorite state to perform in.
Well, how could it not be? The bars are open 24 hours a day.
Yeah. And anywhere there where you go like that, people don't get offended by shit. Like, you deal with real shit. They eat bugs down there. They're not offended by trans jokes.
No, they literally eat bugs. Before the liberals told us to eat bugs. And isn't that kind of odd, too, is that conservatives, we have y'all. They're so concerned about pronouns. They're like, she, him, he, her, they, them. Y'all has always been all-encompassing. We've always been the gender-neutral region of the country.
There's two. It's y'all and all y'all. That's it.
And what's the difference between y'all and all y'all?
Y'all is just a few of you, and all of y'all means every one of you.
Every single person out there, absolutely. All right, well, I find that to be brilliant that this guy came up with that. All right, here's another one. So, a news story today involving a 36-year-old man in Pennsylvania. Very provocative, don't do drugs PSA here. I would imagine this is probably part of the reason why you don't do drugs, Jesse. This guy gets arrested. His name's Keaton Gaines. Lost his mind last week while high on drugs. Shows up at a woman's home naked and tells her, quote, "It's time to meet the Lord." I'm probably sure that's not how he said it. Began punching her in the head. I don't approve of hitting women.
Oh, wow.
She got away from him long enough to call 911. And in the meantime, he locks himself in the bathroom with the woman's husband and 2 children. He didn't hurt them. He spent most of the time in there praying loudly and drinking toilet water. When the police got there, they tried to remove this guy from the residence. He insisted, "No, you're the cops. This is a fight," he said. They try to subdue him. He repeatedly punches and kicks the officers. One suffers a broken rib. The other suffers a broken bone in his hand. Eventually, they give him a sedative. It's like the kind of thing you'd give your dog to put on an airplane. Taken to a hospital, they check him out. He's since been arraigned on various charges, including aggravated assault to law enforcement, resisting arrest. It's unclear what kind of drugs he's on and what God he was praying to.
Yeah.
So I guess we could start with that. Fentanyl, meth, and probably I don't know.
Well, I'm live on Facebook right now, and I want to calm down all of my followers because I know my fans. And a man showing up naked at a woman's house, kicking her door in, punching her in the face is what a lot of my female fans call second base.
Oh no!
So I want to dispel that. Calm down. This wasn't a good scenario, ladies. But yeah, that just sounds. It sounds like some kinky sex party stuff. Was this at the Diddy mansion? Maybe was there a pallet of baby oil? And yeah, maybe that's what a freak off is.
Well, you just stumbled onto another thing I wanted to ask you about.
What's that?
You know what the butterfly effect is?
Of course.
I'm friends with Tony Busby. Well, good acquaintances. He's this famous attorney from Houston. Ran for mayor in 2019.
Right.
Lost. Went on, did the Ken Paxton impeachment trial. Won.
Remember.
Right? Ran for city council in Houston. Remember, this is one of the best trial lawyers in America.
Of course.
Lost. The Deshaun Watson thing happens in the middle of that, right? That, we all know how that went. Now he's going after Diddy, Jay-Z, right? All these A-list celebrities.
Yeah.
So I ask you this. If Tony Busby had won the mayoral race, would we know that Jay-Z was a pedophile? Would we even know that? Would we, or that purportedly a pedophile for legal reasons?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, it is. The ripple effect of that's crazy. The funny thing is that P. Diddy was actually outed by Cat Williams on that podcast, the Shannon Sharp podcast, where Cat Williams said P. Diddy offered him $50 million 4 separate times for anal sex in exchange for roles in movies. And that's disgusting, Ken, that our industry, entertainment and show business has devolved to that, because if something like that happened to me, I'd quit comedy. Because I'd have $200 million and I wouldn't need to be on KPRC right now trying to promote couples therapy on December 27th, because I'd be rich and none of you would ever see me again.
Well, that old famous question, would you do it for $1 billion? And
oh, yeah, 1,000,000%.
All right, I have a friend who's a doctor, and he thinks Diddy murdered Bernie Mac. And I said, how do you know that? And he said, I'll bet you years ago, Bernie Mac, very funny comedian. Here, let me put this guy up on there.
Amazing.
We all love Bernie Mac. God. Bernie Mac's a legend. Well, Bernie Mac died at a relatively young age, in his 50s, of what was it, pneumonia or something like that. Okay. My friend who is a medical doctor, a really smart medical doctor, like not just, not some hack or whatever, claims that if you are forced to drink baby oil, you could, I know, it's the craziest thing, right? Is this not the craziest thing? If you're forced to drink baby oil against your will, it could cause you to have the same health problems that Bernie Mac had during his death.
Right.
So then my friend, who's a doctor, does this impression of Bernie Mac at a freak off.
Oh, wow.
Talking about how weird it is seeing P. Diddy having gay sex. Like, oh, yeah,
I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
Yeah, you gay guy, you gay mofos. And that Diddy probably got mad about it.
Wow.
Do you believe that conspiracy theory?
Well, I love that Bernie Mac, shout out R.I.P. Bernie Mac. You're
all day.
He's literally in my top 5 comedians ever.
So good.
And in fact, I can make a case for him being number 1. But I know that So this is another thing too, Ken. How come black people aren't conservative? Wouldn't you think the black, like they love money, they love Jesus, and they're the most homophobic group on the planet?
Well, it's funny.
Like that's kind of conservative.
You've told that joke for a while, and I love that joke.
That's a real thing.
But also, do you know, you kind of predicted the future there.
Yes.
Because the first time I've heard you, you and I are good friends. I've heard, I'm familiar with your material. I won't out you, but I know you've told that joke before.
Yeah.
The first time you told that joke, there were no black men voting for Republicans.
Right.
In this election we just had, more than 1 in 3 black men in Texas voted for Trump.
Right.
That hasn't happened since the mid-20th century,
Absolutely.
since pre-JFK. The last time black people were voting for a Republican, but nobody knew who Bill Clinton was.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So there's definitely credence to the fact that Bernie Mac could have been there and been like, I don't play this gay shit. I ain't scared of you.
That's it. And that's a good
it.
Bernie Mac
Yes,
impression.
yes.
See, that's exactly what I think it happened. I think this is just a conspiracy theory.
Right.
I think Diddy was in bed with the FBI. I think he killed him, helped him kill Tupac. The theory everyone has about Epstein, how he was connected to the Israel intelligence agencies. Right. I think Diddy actually was connected to the FBI. I think they made a deal with him. They're like, can you get compromising videos of celebrities, politicians? And I could do that. All right, then you don't go to prison. You don't go to prison for murdering Tupac. Maybe even helped him kill Tupac.
Who knows?
And I got another buddy who swears, and I think I believe this too. If Tupac was alive today, he'd be the Republican governor of California.
Perhaps.
It's funny at first, but then you think about it.
Maybe, yeah. They picked Arnold, so who knows? Yeah,
Well,
it's insane.
And the world's changed a lot since then.
It has.
Would Tupac be a liberal today as much as he loves guns and money?
Have you seen
Fuck
those?
no, he wouldn't.
Have you seen those new videos surface? I love the guns. I didn't think about the guns thing. That's funny. I need to add that.
Yeah,
to
well,
to
that's
the black
true.
Conservatism. But did you see those videos surface of like Tupac early on, where he was like a dance major?
Yeah.
And he's like all like he looks super swishy.
Yeah, hang on a second. I got to pull one of these up. Yeah, there's this old theory that, okay, are all rappers gay? Is a question we have to ask ourselves after this P. Diddy thing happened. Because have you ever seen this old video of UGK? It's Bun B. For those of you who aren't from Houston, UGK is a big deal in Houston. Yes. Bun B is the big pimpin' guy, among other things. He's a professor at Rice University, created Trill Burgers. Great guy. We all love him. Great Houstonian, but there's this old video of, go search for it if you want to find it. There's this old video of Bun B and Pimp C.
Oh, that's it.
My
goodness.
The two guys in UGK, and they're talking about how they don't go to orgies. They're like, nah, we don't go to orgies. And they're like, no, we're not trying to have sex with, he's like, we're friends with each other. We're not trying to be in the room when my buddy busts a nut. And this is an old video. No one knew what the hell he was talking about at the time. Now, when you go back and watch these videos, it's like, holy shit, dude, he's talking about P. Diddy. He's talking about Jay-Z.
They all are. It's funny, all those things that are coming back up now, too. And I don't think it's just a rapper thing. I think it's like a celebrity elitist thing. Because when you just have sex at your disposal because of who you are, then I think it takes the more extreme things to get you where you're trying to go.
Yeah, okay. Hang on. I got to mute the mics here a little bit so Jesse can hear this because he doesn't have headphones on. This is Tupac. Is Tupac gay?
Okay, my name is Tupac Shakur, and I attend Tamalpais High School, and I'm 17 years old.
Do you like being 17?
It's like 17 is such a weird age. It's such a in the middle age. You're not 18 yet, and you're older than 16. So. But I like it. It's nice.
All right, hang on a second here.
What?
Now, that does not strike me as
a hardcore gangster rapper.
As the most badass gangster rapper of all time who ever lived.
Yes.
So was Tupac gay?
That you may not be gay, but you're gay adjacent right there for sure.
You know, there are other people that have
That's
noticed
a lot.
It used to be, the world's changed a little bit since it used to be, once upon a time, you could not be a gay rapper, right? I mean, look at these guys. Here's on the left, we got 50 Cent. 50 Cent, I'm not going to say a bad word about him. He's a good Houstonian. He won the wine contest here, and he makes great wine. There's nothing gay about that. No.
Absolutely not.
But then this guy on the right, who's that? Lil Nas X. Now you could be a gay rapper.
That's funny. I love 50 Cent. I love when he threw a book at a video for Floyd Mayweather and said he'd pay him $750,000 if he could read a chapter of a Dr. Seuss book. I'm a 50 Cent fan for life. That's amazing.
That is pretty funny. All right, here's one more and we're going to get out of here. All right, people, this is kind of dumb. There's what the hell? I'm already doing it. What's your first thought when you hear someone say they don't want a gift, Jesse?
That means, well, male or female?
That's a good question.
I think that matters, because if I tell you I don't want a gift, don't give me anything. I buy myself everything I want. If a girl says that and you don't do it, you're dead.
If you're a fully grown man who isn't like drowning in debt and you earn about 6 figures a year or better, if I want something, I've already got it.
I've got it.
The second I want it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are you going to get me?
Right.
Yeah. What, or a woman, for example.
Right. Yeah. Everything I want starts with you undoing your belt.
Right, with the women. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're getting people leaving comments during this conversation here. Oh, by the way, the results of that were 1 in 4. People were asked this question according to a poll. 44% say the person truly doesn't want a gift. 19% said still get them a gift. Now, as for the drama, 9% say the person doesn't want a gift and will be upset if you get them something. All right, I hate these polls. Let's get that off the screen.
What a weird write-in.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't know. I bookmark these stories early in the morning thinking they might be interesting, and then later on in the day I realize I don't like them. And my producer, he doesn't know any better. Jesse, you're going to be at the Improv next week in Houston, Texas.
Absolutely.
That is the biggest comedy club in Texas.
The biggest comedy club in Texas, and it's the biggest show that I'm doing right now. It's the show called Couples Therapy, a relationship-themed comedy show. Bring your girl, bring your date, bring your husband, bring your boyfriend. Don't bring them all at the same time. It'll get weird. We don't have time for that. But it's a perfect date night comedy show. It's about relationships. I don't do politics on that show, so everybody can come. And it's just enjoy a good comedy show about relationships. The unique thing about this is it's interactive. At the end of the show, the audience gets to write in questions, and then your question will be answered by the comedians on stage. It's a lot of fun. Some of the best comics in the country are going to be on the show. Me, Dustin Sims, MC Lotto, and Alan Adams. Alan Adams is actually the guy who created the theme of the show. It's going to be amazing. We've got almost all of VIPs already sold out, so there's only a few tickets left, less than 100 left out of 500. So get your tickets now. December 27th, Houston Improv, Couples Therapy. It's going to be a good time.
All right, Dustin Sims is a conservative, or he's right-wing.
He's
right?
from Alabama, so he's just Alabaman.
Chad Prather.
Yes.
Jesse Peyton.
Yep.
That's 3 conservative comics right there.
Right.
You guys travel around the country together. You do a lot of shows with these guys.
Yep.
How much has it changed for right-wing conservative comics since, say, 5 years ago?
Since 5 years ago, well, it's gotten a lot better. The pendulum is definitely swinging back the other way. I feel like we were forced during COVID, post-George Floyd, and all of those things to accept things and not push back on things that we thought were silly. Because if you didn't consume it all, then if you weren't pro-gender spectrum, then you were racist. And they were just trying to attack you cumulatively for all of these, bullet points that they put under the umbrella of wokeism. So it's definitely swinging back. If you said, like they said, somebody got onto me for saying retard Democrat joke I have, the one that
that thing that Don Trump Jr. shared.
So I said you can't say the word retard anymore. Now you got to say Democrat. And somebody said the fact that you even said you didn't say the R slur, and I'm like, my fans are from the South. We don't know what R slur is, and if you get offended by jokes, you should something with my D slur. So yeah, I went real tacky on them, but. It's just the pendulum's definitely swinging back. You can say anything you want now, and the consequences aren't the same.
Can I show you the America that I grew up in, Jesse? Look at this right here. See this right here?
Yeah.
Help retarded children, the Knights of Columbus. What's weird about this, you don't even think about it, but there's like 3 or 4 things here that offend people. Obviously, the retarded children, right?
Yes.
But then also Knights of Columbus.
Absolutely.
You know who they're talking about.
Of course.
How many people understand that back in the early 20th century, the Ku Klux Klan was riding around the South and the East Coast of America, terrorizing Catholics, Italians, Hispanics, the Irish.
Right.
And the response that Catholics came up to this was a brief history lesson in which they realized the guy who gets credit for discovering this landmass for the western half of the world was a Catholic Italian named Christopher Columbus.
Right.
The whole reason we celebrate Christopher, nobody gave a shit about Christopher Columbus.
Right.
George Washington didn't know who the fuck Christopher Columbus was. The only reason Christopher Columbus is a thing is because in the early 20th century, racist Ku Klux Klan members were targeting the Catholics and the Italians, and someone came up with Knights of Columbus. We'll fight back against the Ku Klux Klan with Knights of Columbus. He's our folk hero. 100 years later, Christopher Columbus and the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan might as well be the same thing.
Exactly. That's why Knights used to not be spelled with a K.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Then they added it. Now it's 4 Ks on that.
All right. So here you got 2 white men who are clearly Italian Catholics out raising money for special needs kids.
Right.
In the 1990s or 80s, you wouldn't have You wouldn't have even batted an eye at this. Now liberals see this and they would shit themselves.
Right. And they're doing a good thing. They're raising money for special needs children.
Wait,
screw the vernacular.
Yeah, they want to punish them. Punish these men
that are helping retards.
How dare these men go out and help out special needs kids? We should ignore them. You know, another thing I've noticed, and I'm not the first to notice this, after they removed the word retarded from polite society, I'm just in context here, I'm saying retarded, you know, it's a word.
Yeah.
After it was removed from polite society and you were no longer allowed to say it, did you notice that representation of mentally handicapped people on TV vastly decreased? Back in the 80s, we had a TV show.
Right.
What was it called? Life Goes On?
Yeah.
About a guy named Corky.
Yeah.
It was a sitcom starring a young man who had mental disabilities.
Right.
He was the star of the show. He was beloved. He wasn't the only one on TV. Are there still special needs people on TV? I don't see them anymore.
Yeah, it's Joe Biden. He's every day, like every single day.
No,
you can't listen. Like blacks gave up their victimhood when Obama made the when he made the White House. You reached the highest. You reached the highest state, the highest office in the world. So then it was done. Then it was done. And then like now, when special needs, mentally retard, when Joe Biden represents you now. So now that he made the highest office, you're not marginalized anymore. You're one of us.
Congratulations, there. You've made it. You've arrived.
You've arrived.
Just like the gays. Now you can be president. You can.
Yeah.
All right, and now we're full circle. All right, week from this Friday. Go see my buddy Jesse Peyton. He is going to be at the Houston Improv, biggest comedy club in Texas. He's sold it out almost a couple dozen times. This show will sell. I guarantee it's going to be fun. If you're right wing, if you're libertarian, if you're conservative, if you're Republican, if you're just not everyone will enjoy it because it's not a political thing. But just know that this isn't the kind of comedy show where you're going to get shamed because you want to keep old statues and defend your right to own a gun.
Never that.
I'm Kenny Webster. Follow my buddy Jesse on Instagram. He's hilarious. Where do people find you one more time?
Jesse is funny on Instagram. Jesse Peyton Comedy on Facebook. I'm a Houston local. Come see me December 27th. Couples therapy. My goal for this show is to have everybody to have a little intercourse at the end of the show. That's all I want.
You
for
know,
you
there's
guys.
83 people watching us on Twitter right now. Do you want to promote the Twitter account you never use?
Yeah, Jesse is funny on Twitter. Same thing. So
Go follow at Jesse is funny on Twitter, on X. We know what it's called. It's called X. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for more of what you bought a radio for. Have a great day, everybody.